There's a directing philosophy that says the main character gets the first close up, or the closest, the tightest close up, and they get that in every scene that they're in, and most importantly, they get that in their first scene. And this is a way that you communicate to your audience. This is film language 101. This is how you communicate to your audience. This is the main character. This is the person that I will be watching the rest of of this movie. I'll be seeing this movie through their point of view. No one else gets that tight of a close-up, because the reason we're on their face is because we're watching their emotional reaction to everything that occurs in the story. So this is valid across all genres: drama, comedy, action, whatever you call it. This is a director philosophy, film theory, you could say. This is the approach that many directors use to communicate who their main character is. And then this even contributes to what's called economy of storytelling, meaning you're not shooting close-ups of everyone. There's a philosophy called coverage, for those of you who don't know, which means you say you have a scene with two or more people, and everyone gets a close-up, everyone gets a wide shot, everyone gets a medium shot. And these shots are as described. The close-up is the head, the medium shot is the head to the waist, the wide shot you can see their full body and whatever they're doing. And this is very generic shooting style that anyone can apply, and it's what's called producer friendly for a TV show, because basically the editor can then decide which takes to use when, and can control who's the main character in any given moment. Because certainly, even if there's a main character to your story, they may not be the main character of a given scene, if a scene is about this particular person in that moment. So that's just something to think about for you young storytellers. These are things to understand. But in addition to that, once you've established your main character in close-up, then you can play with their distance to the camera, and how the camera gets closer to them again has everything to do with where they are at emotionally in the story. So with that in mind, when I shot this little sequence, the first segment when he's walking, it's very wide, and we see the bullies in the foreground, and he goes up, and as he gets close to them, they beat him up, shove him to the ground, and then take his money, and he runs away. When he comes back the second time, this time I'm in a medium shot, and I'm following alongside our main character, and this time he's so scared, he's holding his chest, he's holding the wall. And when he comes up to the bullies again, they attack him, throw him to the ground, and he runs away again. And this time around is when the mom gives him the money and the stick and says he's going to stand up for himself. And now when he's walking down the street, now we're in a slightly wider close-up that pushes in, as we're seeing in his face there's resolve. There's resolve to complete what he's come to do. And this time around, the camera circles around the bullies to reveal, and we're not, because we're in close-up on my friend Joe, we're not seeing the stick in his hand. And we don't even see the stick handed to him, because technically we didn't have a stick in the mom scene. But when I shoot that close-up, I'm hiding the stick, and then I use the camera turn around the bullies to reveal Joe with his stick. I use the camera turn to reveal. This is something I've talked about in director's technique across Wyatt's Great Gut Reaction. I can't tell you which videos, but this is a technique called literally move to reveal. And I'm kind of making up the name, but it's still a technique that filmmakers do, where the camera turns around them, we see Joe with the stick, but it's not just turning around them to do the reveal, but it's also turning around them so that when he hits each one of them with the stick, the camera is in exactly the right place to make it look like he's hitting them in the face, even though technically where the stick is and where their faces are is just a safe distance away. So Joe can just swing and all my friends have to do is go ah, but the camera's in the right exact position that it completely sells the effect. And this is not my best sound design, but I do think this is an early sign of me grasping the directing technique. So if we break it all down again, what happens? How do I show our main character's emotional progression? First, he's in wide shot. He's the furthest person away from the scene, and the bullies are in the front. So they're the imposing threat, and he just walks right into them. The second time around, he comes to get groceries. Now we're in a medium shot, getting a little bit closer, but it's still a medium shot, and we're just showing his weakness, right? He's terrified. He's grabbing his chest. He's so scared he can't even stand up. He's literally holding himself against the wall, and that's all the information we need in the medium shot because it just communicates his absolute terror. And then when his mom sends him back with a stick, I'm in complete close up, not showing the stick, just showing his resolve that now the game has changed. So everything is about character communication. So yes, this is an action scene, right? It's an action moment. But what the first two parts aren't action, they're violence. Then the consequence of the violence of the first scene, you see I'm using my rubric now, the consequence of violence of the first two scenes is that he runs away in fear. And he can't get something he needs because there's something in his way and he's too scared to deal with it. But by the time it happens the second time and he goes to see his mom again, now his mom is telling him, you're not coming back until you get those groceries and you are going to defend yourself. So regardless of how, if in the book he was more scared or whatever, when I'm telling it as a movie, I've decided to give him resolve, to give him a conclusion in this little sequence that, you know, however it goes down, he's facing it bravely. And not like I'm a macho man, but just this time I'm going to do something about my situation.